What's up guys, hope you enjoyed the special event of last month because today we start a new one. In case you guys don't know the rules of a special event, during it I watch movies that have a certain topic. Last month was World War II month and this month it's movies that are set in 2020 but made much earlier. So without further ado, I'm Valentin Levi, the movie guy, and this is my review for Real Steel. In 2020, a new sport is on the come up and that is robot boxing. Robot boxing is exactly what it sounds like. Two robots fight, they are controlled by their coach. Charlie Kenton is a coach in need of a break. He has debts that he can't pay, so he decides to raise the stakes on a boxing match in order to win big, 20 grand big. And he was winning in the beginning before he started showing off and lost the fight, the bet, and his robot. After the fight, he finds out that he has to take care of his estranged son. Will he ever get over this rough patch? Let's start with the negatives. As always, Max Kenton, the son of Charlie, is very annoying. He is 11 years old, but knows everything about robot boxing and even goes on to criticize his father's fighting techniques. Like, dude, you're 11. What do you know about robot boxing? But of course, he has to be right every time. He also blackmails his father for $25,000 because he wants to leave alone and not with him. Where are you gonna go, dude? Again, you're 11 years old. Honestly, this was a character that you're supposed to feel some sort of pity for because his father doesn't want him, but he just made me want to slap him. What I wanted from this movie was a story about a new form of boxing, a Rocky with robots. But what this actually is a story about the bonding between an estranged father and son with some boxing. And that would have been okay too. I love movies like this, but you need a child who you actually care for, not this type of rebel kid. The movie certainly is a tale of two halves. The first half is bad and boring. The second half is more about fighting, and the action is where this movie thrives. The robot fight scenes are really good. The effects are impressive, but what else can you expect from a movie that is produced by Steven Spielberg? The fights look brutal, and I love that robot boxing feels like it's a real thing. It has some history, with some fighters being known as champions or as really tough to beat. The events have undercards and main events. It's really well worked. The ending was really conveniently made. It's basically a case of we're going to add something that we never discussed about in the movie before so we can give the protagonist's robot a chance. Blah. That was bad. As to how close this movie is to how things are in real life in 2020, no movie could really predict what was going to happen in this year because it's been a roller coaster. I would say that there are no major changes in the world of the movie aside from the boxing robots. It's a good idea, but I prefer human boxing more. I haven't had some facts for you guys in about 2 videos, so we're getting right back to them. So, the robot fights were captured by using real-life boxers, with the supervisor being Sugar Ray Leonard. This movie is actually based on a short story called Steel, which was written by Richard Matheson, the guy who wrote I Am Legend. It was also made into an episode of The Twilight Zone. The big back champion of the fighting league is called Zeus, a nod to Rocky's Apollo. Apollo was the son of Zeus in Greek mythology. The cast was not overly filled with star power. Hugh Jackman is his usual badass self, but still, he didn't blow me away in this movie. Dakota Goyo was decent, I would say. I hated Max, but I did it because of the way that he was written. Dakota actually played the character exactly as he was supposed to. Evangeline Lilly plays Bailey, who is... I don't know what she is to Charlie, I guess a girlfriend, and she made me care for her. She was very lighthearted and I liked it. Usually in this section I talk about a scene that I liked, and although there were a couple of scenes that I enjoyed, one really annoyed me and I want to talk about it more. There is a scene where Max plays with his robot. Why is that in the movie? Why are they playing peekaboo? This was supposed to be a movie about boxing. Why is Max bonding with a robot that was made just for fighting? Why does the kid have the impression that the robot understands him? Why has this movie gone this route? Why? This movie has a pretty big rating on IMDb, and honestly, I don't know why. It's not that good. The idea was definitely promising, but the execution was poor. It could have been different and better. Another month when the special event doesn't start that strong, but it will get better. Hopefully. I started watching this movie expecting a boxing film, and a boxing film I will give you for my alternative pick, and I go with Southpaw. It's got a pretty generic story, but it's a fun time. And plus, Jake Gyllenhaal got ripped for this part. So my rating for Real Steel is 2.5 stars.